The stars above the small town of Willow Creek shimmered like scattered diamonds across the velvet expanse of the night sky. It was a quiet evening, the kind where the air felt still and the world seemed to hold its breath. But for 17-year-old Ethan Carter, the night was anything but ordinary. As he pedaled his bike down the deserted dirt road, the faint glow of something unnatural caught his eye. It was coming from the old abandoned quarry just outside of town. Ethan slowed his bike, his curiosity piqued. The quarry had been closed for decades, and locals whispered stories of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from its depths. Most people avoided the place, but Ethan had always been drawn to the unknown. He parked his bike against a tree and cautiously approached the edge of the quarry. What he saw made his heart race. At the bottom of the quarry, partially hidden by jagged rocks, was a small, metallic craft. It didn't look like anything from Earth, its surface shimmered with an iridescent sheen, and it emitted a faint hum that resonated in Ethan's chest. But what truly stole his breath was the figure chained to the craft. It was a girl. She looked human at first glance, with delicate features and long, silver hair that glowed faintly in the moonlight. But as Ethan crept closer, he noticed the subtle differences. Her skin had a faint, opalescent hue, and her eyes, wide with fear, were a deep, otherworldly violet. She was dressed in a sleek, form-fitting suit that seemed to shift colors as she moved, and her wrists were bound by thick, glowing chains that pulsed with an eerie light. Ethan's mind raced. Was she an alien? A prisoner? And why was she here, of all places? The girl's eyes locked onto his, and she let out a soft, desperate sound. It wasn't a language Ethan understood, but the plea in her voice was unmistakable. She needed help. "Hey," Ethan whispered, crouching low to avoid being seen by anyone, or anything, that might be nearby. "I'm Ethan. I'm here to help you." The girl tilted her head, as if trying to understand his words. Then, she raised her chained hands slightly, gesturing toward the glowing restraints. Ethan hesitated. What if freeing her was a mistake? What if she was dangerous? But the fear and vulnerability in her eyes erased his doubts. He couldn't leave her like this. He reached out and touched the chains. They were warm, almost alive, and they pulsed faintly under his fingers. The girl flinched but didn't pull away. Ethan tugged at the chains, but they didn't budge. He glanced around, searching for something, anything, that could help. His eyes landed on a sharp rock nearby. He grabbed it and began to chip away at the chains. It was slow, painstaking work, but eventually, one of the chains cracked and fell away. The girl let out a soft gasp, her eyes widening with hope. Ethan moved to the other chain, his hands trembling with adrenaline. As the second chain broke, the girl stumbled forward, free at last. She looked at Ethan, her violet eyes filled with gratitude. Then, she reached out and gently touched his cheek. A strange warmth spread through him, and for a moment, he felt a connection, a deep, unspoken understanding that transcended language. But their moment was shattered by a low, guttural growl. Ethan spun around to see three figures emerging from the shadows. They were tall and imposing, their skin a sickly gray, and their eyes glowed with a malevolent red light. They wore armor that seemed to absorb the moonlight, and their movements were unnaturally smooth. The girl let out a terrified cry and grabbed Ethan's arm, pulling him toward the craft. Ethan didn't need to be told twice. They sprinted toward the metallic vessel, the alien girl leading the way. The figures behind them let out a bone-chilling roar and gave chase. The girl pressed her hand against the side of the craft, and a hidden door slid open with a soft hiss. She pushed Ethan inside and followed, sealing the door behind them. The interior of the craft was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen, walls lined with glowing panels, floating holograms, and a central console that pulsed with light. The girl rushed to the console, her fingers flying over the controls. The craft hummed to life, and Ethan felt a strange sensation, as if the air around him was vibrating. Through a transparent section of the wall, he saw the grey figures closing in, their glowing eyes filled with rage. "Hold on," the girl said suddenly, her voice clear and melodic, though it carried an accent Ethan couldn't place. Before he could respond, the craft shot upward with a force that knocked him off his feet. He stumbled into a seat, his heart pounding as the quarry disappeared below them. The grey figures lunged, but they were too late. The craft soared into the night sky, leaving them far behind. Ethan stared out at the stars, his mind reeling. Who are you?" he asked, turning to the girl. She smiled softly. "My name is Lyra," she said. "I am from a world far from here. Those creatures, they are the Zorath. They captured me and brought me to your planet. They wanted to use me to find something hidden here." "Hidden? What are they looking for?" Ethan asked. Lyra's expression grew serious. "A weapon. An ancient device capable of destroying entire worlds. It was lost long ago, but they believe it is here, on Earth. They thought I could lead them to it." Ethan's stomach churned. "But why you?" "Because I am the last of my kind," Lyra said, her voice tinged with sadness. "My people were the guardians of the weapon. We hid it to keep it safe. But the Zorath destroyed my world to find it. I am the only one left who knows its location." Ethan's mind raced. "So, what happens now?" Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes filled with determination. "I must find the weapon before they do. But I cannot do it alone. I need your help, Ethan. Only a human can help me now." Ethan hesitated. This was more than he had ever imagined. But as he looked into Lyra's eyes, he knew he couldn't turn away. "Okay," he said. "I'll help you." Lyra's smile returned, and she placed her hand over his. "Thank you, Ethan. Together, we will stop them." The craft soared through the night, carrying them toward an unknown destiny. Ethan didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing for certain: his life would never be the same. Epilogue. Weeks passed, and Ethan and Lyra traveled across the globe, following clues left by her ancestors. They faced countless dangers: Zorath agents, treacherous terrain, and the ever-present threat of discovery. But through it all, their bond grew stronger. In the end, they found the weapon hidden deep within an ancient temple. With Lyra's knowledge and Ethan's determination, they managed to deactivate it, rendering it harmless. The Zorath, realizing their plan had failed, retreated into the shadows, vowing to return. But Ethan and Lyra were ready. They had formed an unbreakable team, united by their shared mission to protect Earth and the galaxy beyond. As they stood beneath the stars one final night, Lyra turned to Ethan. "Thank you," she said softly. "You have given me hope. And you have shown me that even in the darkest times, there is light." Ethan smiled. "We're in this together, Lyra. No matter what." With that, they boarded the craft, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For Ethan, the boy who had once been just an ordinary teenager, life had become an extraordinary adventure. And for Lyra, the alien girl in chains, she had found not only a partner but a friend.